What's good? What's good with it? Yeah. So I don't know if I'm gonna go deep anymore. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna go deep anymore. So yeah, I don't think it's worth it really. There's really no point because a lot of you guys already understand where I'm coming from. You get the message, and at this point, you know what you need to do. I can't even really tell you what you need to do because I don't fucking know you. But I can guide you and help you. And I feel like what I've said and what other YouTube or what other people who speak like me, what they have said, it really makes no sense to go deep other than you just are trying to have like some type of mental, you got like a mental knowledge fit. You got a drug addict. You're like an addict for knowledge. They call it mental masturbation. What's good with it? Speak Your Mind. Everybody go check out Speak Your Mind's channel. Subscribe and yeah, go support that channel. This is one of the only dudes that be really shouting out my channel. So yeah, putting the information out there and everything. But I'm done going deep, guys. Like I don't see no point. Like you guys don't understand. We coming into a different time right now. Like we're already in it. We're actually I don't even want to say we're coming into. We're in that time. So we in that time right now. So we all know what we're supposed to be doing, and we have to do that. There's no question on what we need to do and all that. So all this going deep, people just want to be entertained. They say mental masturbation. That's what they call it. Like people just want to sit there and be entertained, and they want to get the newest deep shit. No, I'm done with that. I've said everything, and I'm not gonna be really going to like at the end of the day, like when I see all this, when I talk all this shit about the shadow government and all this faggot shit, I can give a fuck about all that shit. I don't care about any of that shit. That shit has nothing to do with me. I don't give a fuck about it. Like I'm done with all that shit. I can give a fuck about it. I'm doing my thing. I'm gonna talk about my health. But as far as going deep, there's no point because most of these niggas out here ain't shit. What the fuck do you look like going deep and speaking like this and doing all this for a bunch of dumbass people who won't even get it? And it's not that they don't want to get it, it's their cranium and their blood flow and their spiritual genetics and physical genetics dictates that they're going to be retarded and they can't get your information. So at that point, there's no point. You see what I'm saying? Like a lot of the reasons the government and these fucking faggot Jews and feds, they're able to even exist and carry out their bullshit and have people entertain it is because people are stupid. It has nothing to do with them being powerful. They're nothing. They're like a bacteria. A negative bacteria only comes when you play in the dirt. If you don't play in the dirt and you wash your hands, you're not going to have that type of bacteria. If you take care of the body, use certain type of methods to heal, cleanse, whatever, you're not going to have scum and dirt. So the government, the feds, and all these people, they're scum, they're dirt. And they're a result of people not handling their shit. So now you have a bunch of fucked up people not handling their shit. And this look at this as esoteric dirt or like spiritual dirt when people are thinking and acting dumb. And that dirt attracts bacteria. And that bacteria is the government. They come up with their systems and everything because if a person who had a strong mind, if people had a strong mind, more so on a collective basis, they will not be able to like flourish like bacteria can't flourish. So in reality, people are really causing their own hell and their own problems. Like it's so dead. This is why they have to have social media and they have to push narratives to have you believe in your own bullshit. Like they'll say, oh, there's no jobs out there, but yet the only people getting jobs and not getting jobs are the people, dumbass. The people who created the whole situation, they're not working. So it has nothing to do with them. So you could create your own job. You could create your own system. It has nothing. This is why they have to use social media to keep fucking doing all this dumbass shit and distracting people and pushing narratives. And oh, everybody's not working. Everybody's getting fired or everybody's doing this. And it's like, there's nothing wrong with working. It's just you don't want to work wasting your time at a corporation. But then they got people thinking that, oh, it's about just not doing shit and not working on nothing. So then people go from not wanting to work 9 to 5, which fuck 9 to 5, but then they don't work on themselves. They don't work on their own thing. They don't want to like build up their own situation so they can like work on that and better their own situation. Like the Gen Z, like they don't want to really do any of that. But and Speak Your Mind said, how do you view this reality? Do you think it's a waste of time, or what's the purpose of this timeline we're in? Uh, it's not a well. I want to say it's a waste of time, or it's not a waste of time. At the end of the day, you're in a situation like, let's just say like, if your house is all, if you're in the middle of a burning building, you can say your mission is to get out of that burning building. But in reality, you don't have to. You can stay there if you want. But if you do, you're going to experience hell, pain, things you don't want to experience. So it's kind of like the same with this reality. You can say it's a waste of time or not, but you in a situation. And if you don't want to experience certain things within that situation, then there's certain things you're going to have to fucking do. Regardless if you want to say it's a waste of time or not a waste of time, that really don't even matter. If you don't do certain things, you're going to experience certain hell, certain problems, certain issues, situations that you don't want to experience. That's making your problems right now look even small time. So really, whether it means something or not, just know you're in a reality with rules and limitations and certain limits and different rules and shit. So if you don't do certain things are going to happen. So you should just get, is what's the purpose and no purpose. Look at it like, if you don't do certain shit's gonna happen that you don't want to happen. And it's best behoove you to do those things. And when you do those things, you actually get good. It's not like you're doing it and nothing good's gonna come out of it, like a dumbass shitty McDonald's job. You work there for like 8 hours, 10 hours a week, 10 hours a day, fucking 7 days a week, and you don't get shit but a weak ass paycheck. It's not like that. You actually get something from this. So don't look at it like that. But like, it really, all that purpose, and there's really no such thing as, all that shit is just bullshit. It's all Masonic programming, spiritual purpose, journey, all that shit. That's just shit people just say to make their minds feel better about where they're at and what they have to do to make it easier for them. And if you want to say you have a purpose, journey, and this and that and all, then you can, if that what helps you get up and do it. But at the end of the day, we're just dealing with energy. It's like with the Qigong. You niggas talk about, oh, this is the vinyasa, this is this, and this is the lotus flower, this is the spinal breath, and the air cloud hands. Like, I have all these names. Like, bitch, I'm just moving my body and generating energy in certain regions and movements. If you want to make it deep and get all Luciferian with it, you can do that. But I'm not going to do that. I like to keep it simple. Different areas obviously hit different regions and different parts, but why not focus on that and then just making up all these dumbass words? Make people, to have people identify, or at least if you say these words, teach it in a way where you have people know that this is a Masonic word, or this is a Masonic thing, that they stole this information for certain tribals and different energies that don't belong to them. And that's what I even, because how the fuck Qigong even come up on YouTube for people to do it? They said that Chinese people learn Qigong. If you look at the history, they say Chinese people are mutts. The Dolo, he debunked their mutts. So if the Chinese people knew about Qigong first, that means they didn't learn about it first. They stole it from obviously the natives of that land, China, which there was natives on that Chinese land before they had Chinese people, and they probably stole that information and they learned Qigong. Because I'm thinking, like, how the fuck did these niggas know this information of Qigong? This is some crazy shit. How do you know to move this? I was thinking, like, and the feds, the matrix, the shadow go, whatever you want to call them, they're not fucking spiritual. They're not smart. They're dumb as fuck. They're not shit. The only thing they can do is build technology, and that's it. If that wasn't the case, then why the fuck why don't they have all the shit that they say enlightenment is? They don't have all that shit. That's why they have to create Elon Musk and how to live 1,000 more years, because they don't have none of that enlightenment shit. That's what they care about, living here for. If you were enlightenment like you say you are, why would you give a fuck about living forever? So obviously they stole that information because they're not practicing what they preach, because all the information spiritually that nigger Ralph Smart and that fucking bimbo that track worker, the prostitute, Till Swan, the bitch, all the shit they promote, and then they talk about it, what enlightenment is. The people who run this shit, that's their information. It is what they want you to believe. That's where they got, that's their information. So why aren't the people like, why all they people look like fucking John McCain and look hella fucked up, and they fuck little girls in the pussy and shit, like nasty as fuck. because they meant to, they don't, they stole that information. So it's the same with the Qigong energy, everything. He said, the fuck, take fucking directions is still on. Exit navigation. Yeah, but yeah, to answer your question, there really ain't no purpose. All that shit is just we all got to do what we got to do, and when you do that, then things happen, and then you go from there, and it's never ending. A lot of the shit you talk about purpose and all that, you're using your mind to think of it. All of this shit's in your mind, but when you're actually doing something, like there'll be times, right, where something will happen to me, and when I let's just say like something will happen to me, and I'd be tripping. I'll be, oh man, so something bad will happen to me, and I'd be stressing. But then after I come to a resolve of that situation, I will look back and I will see other things that within that situation that if I would have known while I was going through that tower moment, I would have been stressing out more. So it's like the fact that I didn't think too deep actually made the situation better, even though it could have been worse. Let me give you an example. Like, let's just say like you went to the store or you went to go borrow some stuff from your friend and he told you to bring it back. And you like, and he's like, oh, give me my stuff back. And he's like, oh, I don't have it. But then you started thinking, you're like, oh, I don't have it. And he's all getting upset with you that you don't have it and shit. But then you, in your mind, you're thinking, oh, I have it, but it's at my house. I'm gonna give it back to him. You don't know that it's broken. So you're just like, I'll just give it back to him. But then when you go home, you realize it's broken. So you're stressing more. But imagine if you were there and you knew it was broken. You would have probably made the situation worse because you're already thinking. You see what I'm saying? But when you went home and you realized it was broken, by that time, it's like you already went through it and you weren't thinking about it was broken while you were going through it. So you didn't, there was certain stress that was there because by the time you went home, you seen it, he already knows you don't have it. And you told him you're not going to give it back to him and it was whatever. But if you were there and you knew it was broken and that, you would have added energy, even though you didn't say that, you would have added more fear and energy because you knew it was broken there and it would have manifested a situation where it would have played out, you probably would have beat your ass, it would have been even more because you're thinking more deep and it's going to manifest physically. So it's good you didn't know it was broken when you were telling him you don't have it. But when you went home and you seen it was broken, you're like, oh crap, I didn't know it was broken, but it's good you didn't know there because you would have had that much more fear added in that situation versus you're like, I just at home, I give it back to you. You see what I'm saying? So this, you got to trick the universe in certain ways mentally when you're thinking and doing things on this magnitude. Like I told you guys the other one, like anytime I'm doing something that I think I might fuck up on, I automatically look at a resolve to that situation. So I'm like, oh, I'm gonna fall off. If I walk down here, water's gonna fall on my head. That's the problem, water on my head. But the way I look at it, like if I walk down here, water comes on my head, I'm gonna just dry myself off and keep going. So by me thinking I have a resolve to that situation, it won't happen. And because I'm the way I'm moving and I'm thinking, I'm not stressing. So that's when you do that, it works. So it doesn't give you the stupidest thing, even if it's not going to work. Just trick your mind, so you'll have like at least a resolved situation subconsciously. So therefore, when you're doing the thing physically, your body's in a more chill, relaxed state, and things are fruition more better for you. Yeah, you got to keep doing it though. Like this shit works though, for real. He said, okay, so I answered that one. Yeah, everything seems restricted. Well, it depends on your perception of what restriction is. A lot of the things these governments are restricting, really, like if you're mission, if you're not trying to actually like do something to build and get something better in life, like you have a like a goal you want to do and they're trying to stop you, you really can't say you're really restricted. Like most people just say they're restricted because they raise the price of fucking Netflix or some shit, or they're restricted because they can't do some stupid dumb shit. Like they're not like nothing's really restricted. If you, to be honest, you can take the chains off you and do what you need to do. And a lot of people's restrictions are based on their own desires. A lot of people want to eat fucking 20 hamburgers every day and they can't do it because they can't afford it, so they feel restricted. Is that really a restriction, or you just fucking, you see what I'm saying? Like you got to look at it. Like a lot of people just don't know what the fuck is going on and what they're doing. when they say that when they're restricted, because you could really take off the restrictions. If you didn't have those desires, eat 20 fucking hamburgers, nigga, you wouldn't fucking have that problem of you feeling restricted, not being able to afford inflated food costs or whatever. You see what I'm saying? Like dumbass shit like that. Like certain, because when you really be yourself, then you realize how free you really are. And a lot of these things are programs that would try to, even though it's because it's about adapting to shit. Things are gonna happen. You have to learn how to adapt to it and make the most of what you gotta make the most of. Because if you don't know how to adapt, then you're always gonna be upset, angry, because that's just how the reality is. It's not even the real. It's just like the astrology, because we got a different placement. Like even when they talk about Saturn and Capricorn, Saturn and Aries, people look at this the situation of it, but the astrology plays out all the way down to how it looks. Like when it was 2021 and you walked outside, your perception of it looked different. Even like the tree, the buildings, it looked different than it did in 2024. Like because when Saturn's in Capricorn, it may make the reality look different. And you may be aware of it different. So the way things look and how bright things are on a certain level, all plap shit plays in astrology. So going into fucking, I don't know where I was going with that shit, but you guys get what I'm saying. Like this astrology shit's deep. I don't know where I was going. I was kind of rambling with that shit, but yeah, the astrology shit gets deep. It's based on awareness and everything. That's why people be acting different. That's why you see things. You go outside, the streets look different. People act different. All of that's astrology. The alignments. Neptune's changing, the different degrees, Saturn's in this. That's why you act different, you think different, you don't feel the same way. A lot of it has to do with the transit. Yeah, it has to do with growth and shit, but a lot of it has to do with the transits as well. This is why collectively you can see just different trends come and go and shit, because all that has to do with like the planets. Do you think society can really waste your time and energy? It makes a lot of people negative. If you allow it, you don't allow, society can't do shit to you. And even if it does do something to you, what are you doing when it does something to you? Ask yourself that. What are you doing when it does something to you? Are you doing something productive and righteous when it does something to you, or are you doing something you have no business doing when it does something to you? If you're doing something productive and righteous, then who cares if society does something or this whatever? Because you once you stand strong, then whatever happens, it happens, and you're gonna win that. You're gonna win that by default, because you're operating how you're supposed to operate. Whoever's attacking you, then they're gonna have blood on their hands, and you're still gonna get rewarded and be up on top. So don't even worry if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. But if you're in like the devil's playground, not doing what you're supposed to be doing, then that's when it is what it is. Shit's gonna happen, and then it's gonna look fucked up, and it'll look like it's their fault, and it is their fault. But then you're the one who shouldn't have been there. You weren't on your spiritual journey, so you really is your fault, really. You got to look at it like in that situation. How do you view this Mercury retrograde? Um, it's a very it's a lot of negative placements in it. Like if you, there's a lot of issues or oppositions and problems. A lot of people are gonna probably be going through it this Mercury retrograde more than other, especially this coming week. Like starting right now, really, because this whole week, like, you got Mercury square Saturn, fucking Mercury conjunct Saturn. I think conjunct Saturn. Yeah, you got a lot of fucking, and it's in Saturn's in Pisces, and it's in fucking no Mercury square Saturn, and we have another one. It's Mercury opposed Jupiter, or is it opposed Jupiter? Yeah, Mercury opposed Jupiter. So yeah, we got like a lot of just try not to think negative and think depressed and be all down. And try not to entertain bullshit on the social media as well. That's probably why they attacking my page and shit. These demons, they can't control themselves, because you got to understand, these demons, like, they don't have control over their emotional body because they have a lot of blockages. So when these astrology alignments come up, they start attacking. Like a lot of these fucking people who attack, like these agents and shit, they'll go hard on certain content creators page, but then like something would happen in their life, like their wife probably cheated on them with some big black anaconda dick nigga, and they got mad, or maybe fucking one of their children got an F in class and got suspended and they're upset, or they're just depressed that they old ass fucking grandpa is about to die from fucking, I don't know, like they going through bullshit in their life, so then they hop online and then they start taking their anger out and projecting their pain and anger on people online to make themselves feel better. But like I said, when you do that, it's like a drug. The drug, you take the drug, it feels good, but then the high, there's a low. And then once you get low, you need a bigger fix, and you need a bigger fix, and it keeps going down. Eventually, you're not going to be able to get it no more, or you're going to have to face all the bullshit, the health consequences, and then it's going to come tumbling down. So like that's what the situation they're in right now. Like they're like making a heaven and a comfortable cell out of jail, out of their hell, because like all of them are really like they're fucked up, but then they have to like cope with it and manage with it. So then they have like them being on social media, them thinking they can look at everybody and do all this, like, but it's like they're really just in hell, and they're about to get a huge spiritual ass whooping. And their spirit's going to be going through a lot of suffering, a lot of these people. Yeah, because they're like a lot of them are at a point where their shadow work is actually reaping what they sow and going through a lot of pain and misery. That is their shadow work. So once that's your shadow work, you see why none of your spirituality that you say is yours works. It doesn't work because like their shit, their spiritual system and journey to get their self back on track is a whole different shit than anything else. So you see what I'm saying? Like their shit is so fucked up. So this is why they have to be demons. They have to just because they literally can't even apply the information because of the amount of blood they have on their hands. They have their shit is different. Like it's a whole different ballgame for a lot of them. He said can't find housing in the renter. Yeah, it's crazy, man. Yeah, hopefully you can find something. Yeah, it's crazy. Like they'll like, it's funny how like people will sit there, be on the street and not have nowhere to go and be cold, and that's fine. But then let like a kid go in a store and steal a candy bar and watch all the fucking lame ass adults come and act like he just committed the biggest sin or the biggest fucking act. You see what I'm saying? Fuck that word sin. But he's like he's retarded. Like let's just say somebody be on the street freezing to death, cold because they don't have a place to stay. You see homeless people on the street, just it's cold, it's raining. No one is it's legal, it's not a problem, but then let him go and go in an empty building, or let him go just take a candy bar. It's a problem, it's an issue. Like it's crazy. And then like if you want to have a society like that, okay, have it like that, and at least know you're a piece of shit. Know you're evil, know you're a piece of shit. But what really pisses me off is the obliviousness and the like people just naive and like oblivious to the fact like this, like it's not a problem. Like that's when like you're a piece of shit. At least be like, I know this is a piece of shit system, but I don't care. Let people fucking freeze to death, and at least acknowledge that. But a lot of people think it's normal, which in my case, that's more dangerous because now the bullshit could go on a lot longer without it being seen because people are like in a spell and shit. And it is not good because it plays out in a whole bunch of other things. And like, this is why in they'll say bad things happen to good people and all this other shit, which none of that is true. Bad things don't happen to good people. What's happening is that it's like a manifest, there's collective karma, there's individual karma, and then you have like collective karma. And if you don't believe in that, that's why everybody got to pay fucking taxes, bitch. Everybody got to pay taxes. There's no way out of that shit. So it's collective karma and there's individual karma. A lot of people have negative collective karma, and it creates situations where we have a shithole society. This is why this all comes down to the people create the government. The government doesn't create shit. The government is just a bacteria of the thought processes of the people. It's all the same shit, and then people just accept this bullshit, and then things just are able to keep going. It's really not hard, really. And it's not like everybody needs to wake up. You don't need everybody. You just need like a certain percentage of people, and then from that, like, cause it's even down to you create your own shit and create a certain amount of people. Because look at it like this: what makes somebody want to go to college and go into Harvard and learn that shit to go to their school? What makes them want to do that? Because they feel stability and security in whatever that shit is. That's the only reason people want to do it. Why the fuck do people want to get big on YouTube and get paid from YouTube? It's because stability, security. So why can't people create something that has stability and security? Because you just get it from the resource, and then anybody who wants stability and security but doesn't want to go to the system, like I don't like the matrix, but let me go to this system. It's a different system, and they got stability and security like this matrix. You see what I'm saying? Then if we could create a situation like that, then that's your own system. Because now not everybody's in the system, because people are going to still be in this current system. But now people who don't like this system be like, let me go try this system out. You still get the same. You see what I'm saying? And then that's how you build a system up. And then now once people are locked into your system, they feel secure. Just like an immigrant wants to be an American citizen, everyone wants to be in your shit because it's locked in. And then you deal with your people. That's how it's supposed to be. It's not going to start off like a system where everybody just wakes up. It starts off like what I just said, and then gradually people will come over, and then their shit gets less energy. Then what's going to happen is they're going to want to keep up their shit. So they're going to end up having to put shit on the news and make fucking things to make people like either not go to it or try to make it look good, but try to be nefarious behind the scene, like that Gaia TV shit. Or like all this fake spirituality. How like they try to make it look like it's spiritual, but they really stole a lot of information, and a lot of information is bullshit and is wrong. Like it's that type of shit. So they're gonna do the same shit. So that's the thing, and that's how you know this shit's be working. Because it's about creating your own system and your own shit, whatever it is. Don't get too in the thought of what exactly it needs to be. Oh, it needs to be money. It needs to be food or water or this or that. Like, don't. Once you get thought into that, then that's when you start fucking it up. It could be anything. Then you got to look at it for what's going on in your life right now, like, and what's the most conducive way it can get there, what energy we have, and other like shit like that. And it's not even about everybody got to be friends. It's about having, like, think about it. Even if you have an enemy, an enemy of the U.S. Let us say you got two Masonic families. They're both enemies, and they have infighting. They still have an agreement to not fuck with the people, and that we're against the people. So why can't people, even though we don't agree with shit, come on an accord to build some shit, and then be like, okay, even though we don't fuck with this knowledge you have in this shit, come on an accord, and then you still are working together, but like it's a healthy way still, but you still don't fuck with it. But see, once you get to that level, then you understand, like, that's how you can really change. If you don't get to that level and everyone just on their ego and the enemy, then it's like it's a problem. That's why, like, you have these fucking Masonic families who, like, they have beef and they fight and shit with each other and shit, but they still able to control the fucking world. It's the same fucking shit. He said ever since Mercury retrograde, you been going. Yeah, you gotta go, especially if you're a Virgo, Pisces, Sag, you're gonna go through it. I think you say you're a Virgo. Yeah, and then it's gonna be it's hitting that Saturn, and then Neptune's hitting Saturn. Fucking alignments, man. It's a lot of shit going on this week, but it's not really like that bad in a way. It's just if you haven't really been doing what you're supposed to be doing, then yeah. But hopefully you find somewhere to stay. Yeah, the financial restriction. Yeah, it's crazy. And then they'll be like, and then it's funny how, like, I never thought this shit really made sense. Like, it's funny how, like, they'll tell you, oh, if you want somewhere to stay, you should go work and find a job somewhere. And I'm like, okay, And I look at it like, okay, the reason they want me to find a job and work somewhere is so I can get money, so I can pay for this place. But then if I went and I got the money illicitly and I gave them the money, they're not going to know if I worked for it or I didn't get it. So when I was young, I thought like this. When I was really young, and I was like, this shit is a fucking scam, because like they say, oh, you need money to go and buy this, and I couldn't get it for free. I'm like, why can't I get it for free? You need money. But then if I went and I go and stole the money from not the person who's going to give it to me for free, it's just somebody else they don't know, like, oh, it's wrong to steal money. But it's like, I don't you need money? And I was like, oh, it's not right to steal. I'm like, why don't they just print the money? It's not right to steal. And in my mind, I'm like, okay, there's something's up. Doesn't make sense. And as I go to, we're like, okay, it's a trap to get people, because what the way you look at money is the same way they look at energy labor, human labor. So a human building a house, a mason looks at that as like $1 million versus when you get paid $1 million after you built that house. So it's like this, you see what I'm saying? It's like that's how they look at it. And when I got older, I started realizing that, because when I was younger, I'm like, it doesn't make sense, because you can't give it to me for free. You can't print the money. I can't steal the money. If somebody gives it to me, people frown upon that. Oh, you're asking for a handout. So only time I can get it is if I'm giving up my time and my soul energy for something. So that's why it made me realize it's a fucking scam. And then the people who make the scam, they have all the resources because they make the fucking scam, so they can scam people and get away with it, and you can't, because then they can just use their resource and their wherever they're at on top to be like, oh, you can't do that and all this other shit. And the only reason they say that is because they want to uphold their system, not because of any moral, ethical shit. Because they're not moral or ethical. They kill, rape, do whatever. So they don't give a fuck about any of that. They just don't want you doing it because it's gonna fuck their system up. That's all it really is. So that's why I'm like, you know what? Fuck this system, ain't shit. Fuck this shit. It's fucking retarded. Ridiculous. So I'm gonna drop the link if anybody wants to join. It's funny how the trolls it's funny how the trolls came in for Thanksgiving. Yeah, I'm gonna start blocking the trolls. I'm not entertaining no more bullshit on my channel. Yeah. But it is what it is, guys. It is what it is. Everything is all good over here. Yeah. I'm gonna be doing the key. What's tomorrow? Tomorrow's Monday. Probably Tuesday, because I got to do something tomorrow. Tuesday, I'll be doing the Qigong workout for you guys in the morning. I'm gonna do that one for sure. Every time I say I'm gonna do one, I always do one. So I'm gonna do one. I did one last time, and then I'm gonna do another one. Yeah, but I still be doing it every day. So don't even. I do it every day, and hopefully you guys do it every day too. Because like I said, if you don't do it every day, then you're not really getting the maximum benefit of the energy. But there's the link if anybody wants to join. He's like, crazy how accurate you are. What was I accurate on? I don't remember what I said that was accurate. Oh, the Mercury retrograde. Yeah. Mercury retrograde is the same all the time. Like it happens every 3 months. That's why I don't even really sweat Mercury retrograde, because it's gotta happen every 3 months. So it's no point of the thinking, oh, Mercury retrograde, tripping over it. It's like every 3 months gonna happen. Everyone, you need to not even really look at it like, because a lot you can't say, oh, something's gonna happen on Mercury retrograde because it's negative. Good, good negative things gonna happen, and bad negative things gonna happen. Something good that's negative could be you just sacrificed a desire, and throughout that whole Mercury retrograde, you're withdrawing from getting rid of that desire. That's a good square. That's a good Mercury retrograde. So you can create good situations and bad. And even if something bad were to happen while you were doing that, and you may say that's Mercury retrograde, you're still in a better spot and situation than if you didn't do that. If you're just bullshit, which you probably had more shit to have to carry up, and you see what I'm saying? So it's like you make the situation really. There's no point just looking, because life is just gonna always happen. That's why on my page I teach you guys to not it's not about always needing to have a solution and fix something and make sure there's not a problem and make sure this doesn't happen, or I can't do this, I have to have my this, and I have to have this, oh something went wrong. It's not even just about that. More so it's about building up your internal shield. So when these little things happen, it's not a problem. It's just like a breatharianism. If you train the body and build energy, you may only need to eat once every other day and you're good. So it's same inwardly. Like a lot of you guys are talking about, oh, human beings, we go through problems and we all go through depression, but issues, but there's different levels. Like there's a problem. There's all types of problems. There's spilt glass of milk problem and fucking financial legal problems. There's different types of problems. So you can go throughout your whole life just experiencing 80 to 90% of just spilt milk problems. Whereas another person is experiencing other shit, but then he's on YouTube and TikTok talking about we all go through problems. We all know, nigga, not everybody goes through your problem. That's another reason with this whole TikTok shit and this spiritual shit. They try to make you think, oh, we're all human. We go through emotions. We got through that. Even if I do go through, let's just say you got robbed and beaten, and that's the worst thing that happened to you. Just there's people who got robbed and beaten, and they're able to the next day just chill and they don't take it the same as you. So all that whole shit, we all experience it, but we experience it differently. And then they just want everybody to be that whole misery loves company shit. You have no hope, and we're all gonna experience doom. And there's no bitch. You don't have to experience that. Your level of how you experience it. It all depends on fucking you. That's why I don't like a lot of programming they have. Like at first, I kind of like was like looking at it and fed into it, and I thought it was like I used to watch it like it has some truth into it. I'm not gonna like lie and shit, but this was like a year ago, like probably a couple years ago, a year ago, and I kind of watched it with you. But then as I look at it, I'm like, what's the point of this? Like, why is this getting views? Like the first thing that got me is this gets a lot of views, so I'm thinking like, okay, it's getting a lot of views. And once I seen why it's getting a lot of views, I really just did some real deep searching and just realizing I'm like, okay, they want to create the world to be like this. That's all it is. It's not the world is like this. And in a way, sometimes they kind of get it to work in a little way. But even if you do see it, it's not because it's working. Because it isn't working. But there are a lot of people that are on. Because think about it like this. Anybody who's on social media all day, every day, for that bullshit to work on, it can't really work too much because they're inside all day. They're the ones talking about how it's good to be introverted. So they're not even outside at these social events. Because one thing is when I go to these social events, I'll see people like people say, oh, nobody's dating and shit. But then I'll go out in public. There was a time I'll go out in public and I'll see people going out, or I'll see people doing things that the internet told me it wasn't. And I would look at it like something's wrong. Like, how are people doing this? And I see people online like, how are people making ends meet? The economy's bad. I'm like, bitch, how the fuck you talking about how people making ends meet? Nigga, they print money out of a machine every fucking day. That's how people are making money. It's like, in order to get money, in order to buy something, you need money. They print it from a machine. So people are spending it, but they want you to think that, oh, everyone's broke and all this shit. So then you can manifest that situation, and then they can try to manifest it in reality because everybody's thinking that shit. But if you actually go in reality, because the only people that are saying society is A, B, and C are people who are on the internet watching that shit. Because if you're watching it, able to even get the information that society is only this, you're not in society living. You're watching it on the internet. So the people actually living it, they're not that. All the other people who think society's that, they're inside in social watching. They're not out because they don't like to be outside. They said it themselves. They're introverted. They don't like to go out to the clubs. So all that whole ideology, that's the people who just stay at home. So I'm like, okay, because when you go out, you will see actually shit differently. Like, yo, I see people going out. I see people who have money to spend in certain places and shit. And it, when I look at it, I'm like, okay, I'm not saying that people aren't struggling and shit and people aren't whatever they say online. But even when I do see that, what people, even if I do see what online is complaining about, the society is, that's always been going on since the beginning of time of human beings. There's always been humans who didn't have money, always been humans who didn't get in relationships. So when can you differentiate? Is that the shit that the government's pushing, or is that just reality? Or and you're just magnifying that with your awareness, and then you're amplifying it. You see what I'm saying? And just that alone could probably manifest situations. So like, yep, what's good
Yo,
with it?
what's up, man?
What's up?
Hey, bro, I
Shit, I'm
I
well.
just tuned in, so I'm late. I'm not really sure what the context is, but continue what you were saying.
Shit. I was just talking about how like, fuck, what was I saying, man? I was just going on, man. I be dropping so much. I be streaming my shit, so I'll be all over like.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not well from what I caught. It's some real shit. It just sounds like how I see, which from the little bit I gathered, just from joining in. It just seems like, bro, like life is literally what you make it as an individual, and I feel like when you step outside of that, you kind of lose accountability for that. And even when it, because like you can only blame the world to a certain degree, I feel. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. You can only blame because we all have a we like because I don't even like to say we on a spiritual mission or journey. Like that's all that fucking new age shit, like journey, mission. Because reality, I could say I'm on a mission to go quench my fucking thirst and get some water. Like you can make a mission out of everything. So when you say on a spiritual journey mission, it really don't even make sense because before I was in the body, wasn't I still on a mission still? Or the mission only began when I became a human? Or
Yeah.
wouldn't the mission carry on after and before in the spirit? Because if you're nothing and you always need a body to form, then you're always on a mission to get to a certain mental space or wherever you need to be to get out of hell, to get to a mental space. So that's why I don't really look at it like I look at that. Those are just words they add. It's like part of that new age agenda
Right.
stuff, that new religion.
Right. Exactly. And then when you really think about it too, bro, like,
So I thought I had a bug on me.
oh
I
shit.
feel something crawling on me.
Shit. But
Fucking
yo, like,
bug. Fucking ant.
shit, how I see it too, man, to add on to what you were saying, if you really think about it, like some of the most peaceful people like that just live their life like in a good way without too much issues and shit, they truly really just be minding their business and taking care of themselves for real. Like when if you really think about it, like the world don't really even gotta affect you that much. I'm starting to realize that the people that let the world affect them the most is people that just don't want to take accountability to change their own life. And I know the world is fucked up and shit, and like there is shit to point out, but at the same time, if that's all you do and you don't want to take accountability for like your own life, then at that point it's like you're choosing to focus on just the negatives and not the solutions.
The problem though with a lot of people is what most people have to do, because society has like programmed people to be very lazy and comfortable even within their horrible situations. Like a homeless person can be comfortable and shit. So people
Right.
don't know what they want to, they know what they have to do, but they've rationalized and they pretty much programmed themselves to look at what they have to do as it's not necessary, or I could do it another way. So they try
Mm.
to find a shortcut, like these get rich quick schemes. They have get spiritually rich quick. Like people want to get certain desires without sacrificing the desire that they're trying to get.
Yeah.
So it's like a kind of a contradiction that most people are like living. So
Yeah.
it's like
Look, that's
it's
crazy you said that, bro, because I'm about to do a video in the future talking about how people don't desire shadow work and growth subconsciously because when they jump into those energies, it usually be for some shit outside of them, which I get it. But at the same time, what's more important than any of that is your internal. So when you look at the word shadow work and growth, most of these motherfuckers they look at that as something to overcome for an external desire, when all
Yeah,
that shit is supposed to stem from like the internal desire of growth itself.
exactly. Like, because, and even when you look at shadow work, they talk about when you look at the darkness, that's too much light, so it makes darkness. When you look at shadow work, you don't even see your own shadows when you in the dark. So when you got a lot of people, they have too much, they're too much in their desires that they don't even know they have shadow work, or they're what they need to do shadow work on becomes their identity. Like example,
Yeah.
like somebody who be like selling dope and thinking he's a big drug dealer, but yet he got something better to offer. So it becomes his identity because he's too much in the dark, too much light. Because you can't see your shadow in the dark. So in too much dark is too much light. That's too much thought thinking and too much material, too much bullshit, like information
Right.
of this world.
Right. And then it all ties back to like even when you think about like people who live simple lives and like minimalists or shit like that, the reason why they're at such peace is because they're not adding so much shit to their awareness to be like, oh, I need to get this or that. Oh, if I can't get this or that, maybe I need to do more shadow working growth. But it's like, nah, it's like you're like getting lost. You got to actually
Yeah.
deprogram from all that shit, simplify your life as best as you can to your own, like, I guess, subjective comfort level of whatever you find to be satisfied and peaceful.
Exactly. Like the person who's a minimalist, who's found peace with very little. And I'm not talking about like you just, because there's the prepper type of mentality where just I'm a minimalist because I don't want to be like those preppers. There's
Yeah.
that, and then the person who built internal energy, therefore they have something better than material. So the reason they don't want material is because like it doesn't appease to them, versus somebody who's in a prepper. If they could have it their way, they would, but it's all about scarcity
Yeah.
and I gotta make it good. So they really, you see what I'm saying? It's not a genuine like build, because the
Right.
one way you're building up the internal energy of the chi, of the prana, what they call it, is you're sustained with very little, not just with food. Food is one aspect, but with consumption of damn near everything, like you don't need it. Even like when you're looking at different women, you may not crave them as much as you were, even though it's a healthy sexual desire. It's not lustful. The way you look at TV and media may not be the same. It just depends on the person and energy. But yet again, like I said, it also depends on other factors, because the energy can work against you, because the key energy, it can also fuck you up more, like sexually. It can make you more deviant sexually if you invert it. And so it also depends on your intentions and spiritual practices and where you're putting your energy. But like I said, when you build that energy though, this is what sustains you. And then it's like, let's just say, think of one of the happiest moments you had in your life, the happiest time you were at your life as an adult. No, not as a kid, because a kid you're gonna have different other biases. But let's just say as an adult, like within the last 3-4 years, or just imagine if you were to have something extremely happy happen to you right now. Like if you had that shit happen to you right now, you're gonna be so like, I don't know, fuck, what's the word for it?
Like
I don't
bliss.
know. Oh no, fuck, I forgot the fucking word. Damn it. Like if you have something extremely happy happen to you, you're gonna be so in bliss, and you're gonna be no, it's not bliss, it's something else.
Is it like a state of being or something?
Fuck, I don't know. I'm trying to think. I don't know. Euphoria.
Yeah.
Uh, hold on.
Like a little high or some shit.
Hold on. I missed my point. Wait, okay, go back. What was I saying before that? What was I saying before that?
You was saying something about how like the happiest moment in like recent times as an adult, um you were going along those lines.
No, what was I going on before that though? Because I said something, I had a point that I was trying to get on, and then I lost my point trying to think of the thing. I
Um,
had a good.
we was talking about like just the minimizing art, like the minimalist shit, and
Oh,
like
oh, yeah. Okay. So happy you can't eat. Okay, yeah. Imagine the happiest time you've ever been in your life, right? Or you've been recently. When you're happy like that, you don't have a desire to consume, whether it be
mm,
food, media, whatever. You're just happy at that moment because there's something going on internally. So that right there is kind of like tapping into breatharianism chi, because you're you have a generated energy within you that's making you sustain yourself. And that's why when you listen to breatharians, they talk about bliss, joy, and all this. That's just another word for it when you sustain yourself with enough chi. When you're doing it for years until you get to a point where you're a breatharian, you have enough energy, and then they call it bliss and all that because of what it the symptoms it gives you, as it gives you like you're just always in a mellow, chill space because
hey,
you
but to
go
add
ahead.
on to that, that's some real shit though, because that's kind of my point. It's like when you have less distractions and just less to work with, it simplifies your state of being. Because I realized that, bro, the people who are in hell the most, the people who like have all the most internal issues and shit, they're into too much shit if you really think about it.
Exactly. Like even when I see somebody wearing like a face mask, for example, I could see by their actions and how they look that they're very damaged. They're more of a damaged bot than somebody who's a bot, but they don't even wear it or they don't fuck with it. It's like when you think so much, you have so much bullshit coming your way, then it leaves room for you to like become more like it even plays out in how you act and shit and how you sound and everything. You become a Karen, all that shit.
Yeah, for real. It's deep. It's deep, bro, because you would people think, well, it's not really deep. It's simple, but the reason why it can be deep is because it's such a simple thing that everybody overlooks for real, man. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's crazy. It's like the most simple. It's almost as if the best solutions is the most simple shit, but I guess people don't really believe it, I guess. So they just like gloss over it or something like that.
It's what you gotta. It's part of that, but a lot of it has because at the end of the day, in order to become great, successful in whatever you want to do in life, even become spiritually successful and great, you have to go through life. Like you got to go through it. A lot of people don't want to
Right.
go through the pain and the hard because it's hard. Like life ain't easy for most people. And in order to become successful, you have to go through it. So even if you have the knowledge, like a lot of people, this is why you see a lot of people in the spiritual community not really progressing or they don't really are aware, but then everybody's spiritual. It's because the things that most people have to do, it's too hard for most people, or it's something
Mm.
the spirit pretty much puts you through like a hazing ritual and approving. This is why a lot of people go through tower moments and they go through like almost they see they homies get killed and all this shit. All these things like hazing moments and things, and then you got to prove yourself by giving up shit and doing things, and then you get certain things. And a lot of people miss that in the spirituality community, and they think spirituality is just lighting candles and just showing gratitude and that's it. Just sitting on your ass and being grateful that you
Right.
can sit on your ass and eat these
That is
fucking noodles.
true.
You see what I'm
That is
saying?
Yeah, that's true because
Go
the only reason why I'm able to develop a certain piece, I can't just sit here and say, "Oh, it's cuz I simplified shit." There was a lot of
Mhm.
hard growth I had to go through as well. You are absolutely right on that.
Yeah, and it made you who you are right now, because the person that you want to be and that you're supposed to be you can't be that one unless you go through certain situations. And a lot of people are trying to run from that situation because society
Using
programs you to be
spirituality to do
comfortable.
so.
Yeah, they use spirituality to do so because everyone wants to be comfortable, and comfortable doesn't have to just be like, oh, you're in a good. A homeless person could be comfortable. Somebody could be homeless and they're more comfortable living in a tent. And then somebody says, why don't you go get your life and do this? Like, oh, I like to hear, I like the freedom more. It's because they're comfortable. So comfortable has nothing to do. It's just a mindset where you know a lot of people are comfortable. AKA, let's look at comfortable as doing something you're spiritually not supposed to do. So you could be working 20 jobs and your spirit's supposed to stay home and just meditate and relax. That's gonna be your spirit. you're comfortable working 20 jobs, even though the average person like 20 jobs, that's not comfortable. But some people, they overwork themselves, and then they be say, oh, I have to work these jobs. They like working those jobs because there's things that they have to do, like change their diet, do
Right.
this, sacrifice certain desires. They can't do that. They
You,
won't even, but they'll go on TikTok. Oh, I hate going to this job. I gotta go here, clock in. But then they doing it every day. But then tell them to go stop smoking them cigarettes, stop smoking that vape, stop eat. They can't do that because that's when you start getting to that dark esoteric like shadow, and you look at it and you really gotta really do the work. And then when you get there, there's no comfort zone there. You could have a
yeah.
comfort zone of going to a shitty 9 to 5 and complaining on TikTok and having to wake up in the morning, and you could certain things you can just have a comfort zone in. And even within those could be dark moments depending on the person and the spirit and the situation. But people just like to make comfort zones out of shit and then
Mm-hmm.
try to act like they're going through something. But then when you're really going through something, nigga, then like that's when you know you're going through it because you just feel it, and there's no joking about it, and you learn you're a different person from that.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
so,
that's some real shit because it's like people value that comfort over going through discomfort for the sake
yeah,
of developing more strength. Because I think strength is much more valuable than just being
yeah.
comfortable.
Exactly, and I speak to myself. I'm not like, oh, I've got it all. I'm speaking to myself. Like there's times I be kind of be trying to be comfortable. I need to be doing more, and I should be doing. I should have done. So I'm not gonna sit there and say I'm perfect because I'd be dumb if I come up here and say I'm perfect. Actually, wouldn't even be. It would be kind of dumb because if I sit there and say I'm perfect, then a situation will present that I'm not perfect, and I have to uphold a fucking glass house. It make no sense. So I'm not perfect, but I don't think anybody's perfect in life. So, like I said, we just what we gotta just keep going and do what we gotta do.
Hell yeah. Yeah, that's real shit, man. I think all right, yo, I'm gonna hop off. I'm gonna hit the
Yeah,
rewind, try to catch up to what you've been saying.
for
Um,
sure.
and then I'll share this video too. It's been a minute since I shared one of your videos, but keep
Yeah,
up the
for
good
sure.
work, man. I know
Yeah,
we're in a time where this shit kind of don't really matter. I just made a recent
yeah.
video about it too, but like, yeah, it's still good to just see that other
Put your
people are real at least.
exactly. And a lot of it, we're putting awareness out, and the more people get aware, the more like a lot of the blood and the karma that's on their hands start to fruition for them, because a lot of the reason they're able to get away with a lot of shit is because people aren't aware. But us putting these videos and letting people be aware, it's like it's kind of adding, so it's actually doing something so people are
Yeah.
aware of okay what's going on, and they can see reality for what it actually
Somebody got to
is.
say it right.
Exactly, yeah.
Right. All right,
But
man. Well, much respect to you, Chauncey Juan.
yep,
I'm gonna hit the rewind.
for
Peace.
sure. All right, peace. Yep, shout out to Mooney Mercury. But like I was saying, like in the you being aware is like allowing the blood on their hands to actually like be stained on their fucking hands, so they have to like fucking reap that shit. Because we went through a time where they actually had like the fake, because there's different shifts, and you see how we're in another shift now, but you see how we were in the other shift, and we were in the last shift. Everybody was like, remember we were in 2012 and we're like, oh, we just got into another shift, and then we got into that shift, everybody became spiritual, and you had all this spirituality, which was good. And people were all spiritual, but then there was a lot of lies and bullshit within it. But the good thing about it, though, people were coming together actually. But then you see how like 2020 hit, it got all fucked up. But you see now, as we're going into another shift. You see how like that whole facade of that fake spirituality, a lot of it is getting exposed. All that, the whole shit, like it was already exposed. The Fed doing all that shit, it was already out. But things are getting more exposed, and just because people were speaking in shit's out there, so that's good. So it's good to do that, and pretty soon they're gonna probably end up shutting all this shit down. Like just be prepared for that. Like they're gonna, when I say shut it down, I'm not saying shut it down like in, because I don't think they're gonna ever shut the internet down. There's too much money, too many billionaires that like them shutting the internet down is just like them a billionaire not wanting to make money. That makes no sense. There's no way they're going to shut it down. But what they will do is probably add new laws and rules and make it very fucking weak, where people may not even want to go on it. So it maybe it's shut down on that level. I don't know. But yeah, I don't think any of this shit's gonna really work. Even like that whole metaverse virtual reality, that shit ain't gonna work. It don't even make sense. How the fuck are you gonna have people in virtual reality? Like people get sick from just playing fucking video games. Remember they have the little photosynthesis or photosensitive warning in when you got Hollywood video. Do not sit close to the TV. You may have seizures and shit. Like they don't even have shit like that out no more. How the fuck you gonna have virtual reality and shit and people have seizures and people can't even keep that shit on their head? Like that shit ain't gonna fucking work. No one wants to be in that fucking shit all the time. So none of that shit's gonna really work. But the internet, they got just be don't get too comfortable on the internet. Don't get too comfortable on it in terms of like your shoe. Because even if they don't shut YouTube down, who's to say they don't pass some laws where they make it illegal or some shit to just for me to even cuss or speak like I'm speaking? You see what they did with the pandemic? We just came online, started talking about pandemic and how we don't need to be wearing certain things, and we just talked about it like normal. And then you see how people's pages were going down, and then after like you see after your page went down, you see your niggas page gone down, and then their page, and then you see this big ass content creator. He made a whole video on how they yeah. And then everybody knew, okay, like everybody knew to get into a court, like, oh, we ain't gonna speak about this shit. Then when you went on your other homie's fucking channel to collab, you're like, oh, I'm gonna be careful. And you see what I'm saying? You said certain things. Everyone said COVID and shit. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, they could pull some bullshit like that again. But on a fucking scale, like you can't even cuss or some shit. So that's why you have to adapt. And who gives a shit if they do that? If you really on your spiritual shit and you growing every day like you're supposed to, then just that alone is you're excited for. And that's a good thing. But don't even sweat it though. And that's the one reason I don't want to make negative video, because I don't want you guys to fucking think that I don't want these to be one of those negative anti-natalist fucking channels that, oh, he's always talking about death and negativity. And that's why I don't want to be too negative, because even though I do come off negative sometimes, well, not negative, I come off a certain way that people may perceive as negative. That's not my intention, because if that was my intentions, I wouldn't give a fucking I wouldn't be one of the only people on YouTube that give a fucking solution that people actually say the solution helped them. And even if you want to say, well, it didn't help me, it doesn't fucking matter, bitch. Compared to the average content creators page who they complain and they don't have no solution, and I at least help somebody, at least don't bringing something to the table to at least get to a certain level to fix this shit. That's really what matters really is finding resolve to your situation. Like I seen some other stupid ass nigga. I don't even want to give this motherfucker well, I'm not even gonna say his name, but it's say somebody, there's an old ass fucking troll I met, and fucking, well, it was like years ago, and I seen this nigga's page and he said some racist ass shit. It wasn't towards me because I haven't fucking spoke to this bitch ass nigga in hella years, but I see some racist shit. And like this nigga's life is a shithole. Like I don't even want to go. I'm not gonna even expose him or give him energy, but his life is a shithole. And like he's sitting here talking about some racist shit about black people is dumber than white people, where it's obvious to see that the smartest fucking people on this fucking YouTube shit is people that look like my skin color. But I'm not even gonna go into that. He's like, oh, black people are dumber than white. That's what he said in the video. I didn't even watch the video. I just seen the thing because I was just skimming the page. I said, what this bitch ass nigga? Just skim the page. And he's like, oh, black people are dumb. And I'm like, first of all, you're a white person in your country. And I'm not gonna say this, but you're in your country and you're white. White people don't even fuck with you. In your reality, you shouldn't even be worried about IQ of black people and white people. You should be worried about how to get your shit right. But since his life is miserable and he can't better his situation, he has to focus on something that's gonna make him feel better. This is why I say, like, these white, particularly these white men who are failures, when they're a failure and they haven't even been accepted by their own white people and they're not shit, they have to look at stupid statistics that aren't even true and like, oh, and have some superiority. Oh, white people were more better than black. Like, nigga, it's not even about white people being better. It's about, nigga, you a failure and there's white people within your race that will look at you like a failure. and you're a pathetic bum. And there's black people that are more successful than you who supposedly have a low IQ. So at the end of the day, nigga, you're just a miserable fuck, and you're just using you're just trying to find something to cope with why you're miserable. So you look at statistics and you look at certain fucking videos and make yourself feel better. That's how you have people, they watch those snuff films and people getting killed and shit because they probably got fucked in the ass when they were kids, or they probably got abused by their dad when they were young, or something happened to them traumatic and they're so hurt and angry they have to watch fucking shit like that to make them feel better. So because they're so much in pain themselves. So like, nigga, you just trying to cope with your miserable fucking ass. That's why you have to make that video, because it's like, I'm looking at it, I'm like, nigga, there's no other reason to make it, because your life's a shithole. The average white person in your situation isn't going to be thinking about black people and IQ and shit. They're going to be worrying about how to get their situation and get their whole shit straight. Not like, and I'm saying this because this nigga's a pathetic ass, bum ass nigga. Like, I seen this shit and it's funny as fuck. I seen this social media. This nigga's an idiot, and he, like, I'm not even gonna go. And it's funny how well, there's enough about that, but you guys know what I'm talking about. It's just fucking hilarious. It just shows you how, and then that's how a lot of these agents that are on my fucking page, they're just miserable. Anybody coming on my page talking about nigger this, nigger that, and oh, you this and you that. Like, you obviously have no fucking life. You're obviously miserable. Like, what the fuck you gotta come? You could be doing anything in your life, but you're gonna spend your time coming on my page, leaving that comment. If you had the, think of it like this: if that individual had the ability to go do anything that they wanted to in life at that particular moment, they would not have left that comment. So the fact that he left that comment means that he's restricted in his life and he's miserable and he ain't shit. There's a high chance that is. And even if you say, "Oh, I do have money, I am rich," you're obviously, I triggered you so bad that you can't even enjoy your money. So you have all that money and you still have me fucking living rent free in your dusty ass mind. So either or, you can't make it look right. You a dumbass. That's a lot of these niggas. Like, they have all these CIA fed agents that control this shit, so they must have money and whatever. Now you sitting here getting upset over content creators who fucking like. So it just shows you how, like, in hell. This is the definition of being in hell. They so stuck in their mind they can't even enjoy the prison, because like they're in a prison, and then they created another prison in their mind, and then within that they created another prison, and they can't even enjoy their original prison because they're in the other fucking levels of prison because they keep creating prisons. Fucking dumbass. Like, you could have just shut the fuck up, mind your business, and enjoyed your original prison, you dumbass. At least at that point you would have been in hell and in prison, but it wouldn't have been that bad. That's what they call thinking too deep. Shit's crazy. But it is what it is. I know. Like, that's one thing I'm so grateful for. I'm always been grateful that I'm not an idiot. I'm not an idiot. I remember my brother, he told me one day once, he was like, "Oh, I don't know how you're able to not be in so many fucked up relationships and shit, because I always keep trusting people." And I'm like, because he be dealing with just everybody and anybody, and I'm like, it's because I could read the energy. Like, even I be telling, like, why are you dealing with these people? Like, they don't fuck with you. Like, you can't see it. They're not your people, and it doesn't have to be like what they say and shit. Like, you could just tell. But shit. Hold on, guys. Give me a minute, guys. Hold on. Yeah. Yeah, I'm probably about to go head out right now. Excuse me. I'm about to go head out right now. I might be on live for a little bit. I'm at 20%. I'm about to go to this bitch runs out of batteries. Just gotta get my shit in order and everything. But yeah, shout out to everybody in the room. Shout out to everybody in the room. Yeah. I still got the link. If anybody wants to join, I still got the link. Yeah. If anybody, and it doesn't have to be like if you got something to say, like if you don't agree with me about something, then I wouldn't mind if you actually join. I'm not like gonna be disrespectful because I come respectful. I'm Pisces, so like I'm like they say Pisces is mutable, so like I kind of I pick on the energy. That's one thing about me, and I'm Pisces in the seventh house, so I'm mutable. But I when it comes to people, like that's the energy. That's another reason why I don't like being around certain that because like I could really pick up on energy. Like if I'm around negative people, then I can't be around that shit. I cannot. That's one thing because even with the seventh house, I be relating too much. Like that's one thing I don't like. I don't like to blend in or what's the word for it? Not blend in, but mutable or when you want to agree with somebody or compromise or be cool with somebody. Like I don't like doing that shit. But as a Pisces seventh house, sometimes I'll like kind of um be when you're around somebody and they act a certain way, you kind of like try to blend in and try to like I'll kind of do that shit. So if some people like in the hood or in the street, I'll just naturally do shit to kind of like relate, and it's by default. But then like a couple years ago, I stopped doing that shit. I'm just being straight up myself, and then I realized once I did that, then that's when I stopped really fucking with a lot of people because it's just weird at this point. Like it's to a point where like I just give off a weird energy. Like I could be in a hood, right, in a dangerous neighborhood where there's people robbing and shit. Like I could just have the energy I have, nigga. Like, cause I'm the way my mind operates. I could be in the energy. People will look at me, but when they look at me, they'll be looking at me like that's weird. That dude's weird. They're not gonna be thinking about robbing or not. They'll be thinking like they're gonna be thinking some other weird shit because that's how I am. So like I'm like in my own world. Like I don't even attract none of that shit. Like people look at me, they're just like they don't even think to rob or whatever. They just look at me like kind of fucking dude is that? Like he's weird. They look at me with a whole different shit. That's how I have it set up. So it's like I don't even have issues like that no more. Obviously now there's some bitch ass nigga that wants to like do some stupid shit. But I haven't had nothing like that happen in a long ass time. So I think it's because of the time we're in too. A lot of people they're waking up. Like I noticed the time that we're in because Saturn's going into Aries, so people's aggression is going to be a little lower. A lot of male masculinity and all that is going to be kind of suppressed a little bit because Saturn's in Aries. So this is why you see like a lot of people aren't as aggressive. Like back in the day there was a bullies. You notice there's no bullies anymore. You notice that shit? There's no bullies because we going into a different shift. Gen Z doesn't. All of Gen Z is the people that was bullied. If you really technically look at it, like 80% of the Gen Z is the people that probably would have been bullied back in the day. So nowadays, there's really no bullies really because we like Saturn's going to Aries. So now every aggression is going to be not as much. So this is why people they just don't want no smoke really. People are more chill. Motherfuckers, they don't really do like it's all because that Saturn and Aries energy, we starting to feel it. And then Neptune's going into Aries too. And then Pisces, fucking North Node, nigga. Everybody's gonna be fucking like I said, that's why I say I'm not going deep no more. It's done. Cause ain't nobody getting shit. Once we get into these transits, ain't nobody getting shit no more. Like when I say getting shit, they're not gonna be getting it. Like it's gonna go in one ear and out the other. Everyone's gonna niggas gonna probably make up their own religion. I wouldn't be surprised in the next couple of years. Like I believe they're gonna be like, oh, I had a dream that Gaga is an entity and he's gonna help the world. And here they'll believe that, and nobody else has to believe it but them. And then that will be their religion, and they'll make books and shit. And with this Saturn and Aries and all the way the world's going, somebody will have a one person religion, and it'll just be them. And that'll be the new fucking thing. I wouldn't be surprised if dumbass idiots try to push that shit. Yeah. Yeah, but whatever. It is what it is. I might end up dipping. Hold on, give me a minute, guys. Let me go look for my shit real quick. I gotta tell you niggas something, man. It's some funny ass shit. I don't know how I forgot to tell you niggas this shit. You know how I had issues with my teeth? You know how I had issues with my teeth and I like fucking I had an infection and that shit was going in my blood. I was fucking I fucked up because back in 2019 when I went through that infection, my teeth was so fucked up and I didn't know about how to heal and fast and all that. So I wanted to go to the dentist and then fucking I went to the dentist and they fixed one cavity, but it was a small one. And then after that, I didn't go back because they were like, they want to charge me more money. I was like, fuck this shit. I'm not going back no more. I don't think it's good. So then that's when I started doing the fast. But I remember before I found the fasting, when I stopped going to the fucking dentist, I fucking like the infection, my tooth was hurting so bad. And like the infection was like, it was going in my bloodstream where I couldn't swallow and I couldn't breathe. So like my throat and my nose was swell up where I couldn't even, it will go down, but then it will swell up, but then it will go down. So it was so bad to the point where like the black spot on my tooth, I had to every time when I had to get like a knife and I will scrape the black spot and like the swelling will go down because that was like the bacteria. So I was like kind of getting rid of it. So like I was literally just drilling my teeth. And when I did that, the swelling went down because I was like getting rid of the bacteria. It's crazy ass fucking story, but just listen to this shit. But I was doing it, and then my mom's like, "Don't be doing that shit," and I kept doing it, and I did. I had a knife. I was scraping it. And I scraped that shit. I was like, and then it fucking my teeth was so sensitive. Like when I drank water or anything cold or whatever, just any type of water, even if it wasn't cold, that shit would fucking hurt. And my mom's like, I told your ass don't be doing that fucking shit. And she told me, I was like, that shit hurt. And then I was like, I didn't know what the fuck to do. And then like a few days after that, I found fasting and I started fasting, and then the pain just went away. Like it's normal. But like I couldn't even brush for like fucking probably like a year and a half because they had to heal instead of fasting. I couldn't even brush because it was so like it was the back of my tooth here and that when I scraped it. It was like a fucking like a indent. But then it healed up because I was fasting. I used the teeth aid and all that over years, so all that shit healed. But I was scraping it because I couldn't even breathe and swallow, and I'm like fucking about to die and shit. And I'm like when I got the knife and I cut it, the swelling went down because the bacteria was getting rid of it. So I was like, yeah, I was like, I need to get this shit out, and I was doing it, but then I did it to a point where the swelling went down, and it didn't go back up where it was gonna like really bad, but it went down. But then from that, and I started fasting. But if I didn't do that, I probably would have been fucked. Because like once bacteria hits the bloodstream, anywhere that blood flows to your body, it gets that organ is gonna get is gonna show complications. So like if bacteria were to go into your bloodstream right now, every organ in your body is going to be infected with dirty blood. So what's going to happen is your heart is going to start palpitating every now and then. Then it might stop. Then your eye might start swelling. Then it might stop. Your fucking dick and shit might start fucking hurting. And then it might stop. The testicles and shit, all that shit starts hurting. They don't stop. Then your fucking like other shit starts happening. Like it's crazy. Like it's crazy. because everywhere that has blood, it's like it's infected and shit like that. And then it's like it's crazy like this shit. And this is just from a tooth fucking infection. And then when I look back, this was all spiritual because I see there's people who've had tooth infections, but it didn't get as bad as mine. Like when I tell you guys the process of how mine's played out, and even when I seen a statistic, they said it's like only 10% of people or less than 10% of people go through what I went through when they get a tooth infection. And then I seen other people in my family and shit that had tooth infections like mine. They didn't go through what I went through. So that's how I knew it was a spiritual thing. And I also know it's spiritual, not only just because of that, but based on other people's situations, things come easy to me and I don't have a problem with certain things and they have a problem with certain things and shit. Like there's a whatever. But you guys see what I'm saying. So it's just like, yeah, I could tell like that's something where I had to. But that shit was fucking crazy as fuck though. Yeah. And that bitch ass dentist, because this was back in 2019. I didn't know nothing about. I actually thought the dentist was gonna help me, because I didn't really know. I was like, because I'm looking at it like, what the fuck? I'm looking at it like, hey, I'm trying to get it better, like, because my shit, because I was in a situation where I just fucked. So I was like, let me just go over here and maybe it'll fix it. I didn't know anything about, because I didn't even know about health really back then. Like I didn't even really even know. I was really just doing my shit. Like I knew about health, but to be honest, like I didn't even know the body was something you needed to take care of in terms of health. Like before 2019, I just thought the body was something you just live in, literally. And then once I had that awakening, then that's what made me realize, like, okay, this body is like it gets damaged if you put bullshit into it. But before I just put whatever and did whatever. I didn't give a shit. So I didn't know really. I had to learn. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. Yeah, got me my little hot hands. I like keeping these in the winter. Yeah. Damn, I need to get it. What the fuck? It was 11 o'clock. I need to get the fuck up out of here. I need to go get my shit. I'm thinking about going to the store. I want to bring you guys in the store, but I don't want to fucking go in there. Yeah, yeah. I'm not doing anything. Yeah, I'm only gonna speak knowledge on my channel. I'm not doing nothing else in my like this video like is good, but I'm not gonna because we got a bunch of faggot ass people watching this fucking page, and I don't want to. It's more so I don't want to like fucking entertain motherfuckers and shit. I'm not trying to entertain motherfuckers, and so I'm done. Like I'm not even gonna cuss motherfuckers out no more. Just I'm done doing all that shit. Just straight. I'm just gonna get straight information and knowledge because yeah. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna entertain because I'll be because one thing is yeah, I'm so well like I said I'm done. I'm done. Tell me why they have some Dollar Tree alkaline water. I tried this shit. This shit is retarded. This shit don't even. How the fuck they have Dollar Tree alkaline water? Because you gotta look at the price. They have Dollar Tree alkaline water, but then they have water that's not even alkaline. I, all that alkaline water is bullshit. All alkaline water is more unhealthy for you. It like because water is supposed to be normal. Anytime they put shit in it, it's like it's GMO. So the alkaline water is GMO water. Why the fuck you need it? Like if anything, drink spring water because it's fucking natural. Alkaline is GMO water. It's not even healthy for you because it's not even the same water. It's like if I fucking give you like I give you a shoe, but then I instead of like a shoe, I take out like 3/4 of the shoe of the sole out. So like you're walking with half a shoe. It's not a shoe no more. Like you're manipulating their original product. So it's not the same. That's the same with water. They manipulated that shit. So that's why I don't drink alkaline water. The only reason I got that shit because it was a big ass bottle. I don't even drink water. Like I just use this as like you guys see, like I swish my mouth and I wash my hands with it. I don't even drink water like that. Like I don't because the water, all the water is poison. Like everything in this society is poison. It doesn't matter what the fuck it is, it's poison. And I'm not saying don't eat and I'm not saying don't drink, but at least if you're gonna eat and drink, enjoy it. Enjoy it. People say, "Oh, you eat for fuel. You eat for fuel." I agree with you. You do, but I don't want to just eat for fuel. I want to eat because I enjoy it. And if I want to get fuel, I'm just not going to eat, and I'm going to train my body to not eat. But if I'm trying to just indulge and have fun, and like I just said, you want to fuck, you got to go fuck. When you the same way you go out and fuck, the same way I'm gonna go out and like you fuck to go fuck. You smoke weed to go smoke weed. You go watch a movie. You play a game because it's fun. It's an entertainment. That's the same way food should be. The way I see it, at least for me. If I was going with that, but whatever. Yeah, whatever. Yeah. Okay, man. I'm probably gonna end this live stream right now. I swallow a little bit. I'll be like, I swallow a little. The only time I could chug that shit, like you guys like chug it like as if I'm like on a fucking fast for like over 3-4 days. I didn't drink no water. Then I can chug it. That's the closest I could get to chugging it. I don't know. I just don't fuck with water, dude. I don't fuck with nothing in the system at all. Anything I eat in the system, I know, okay, it's poison, whatever. And like I know what it is. Don't think that you eating anything fucking healthy. Like, I don't care if you go into Whole Foods, that shit's not healthy. Because when they look at it, they say, "Oh, it's organic," but look at the quality of the animal. If I get a pig that is a shitty, retarded, autistic, dirty, stinking ass pig, but then I put it in organic or in conditions that certify it as organic. Does that make the fucking animal good? Like this is what I have cheap organic. Why is there so many fucking ants in this fucking car, dude? The fuck is that shit, dude? That shit pissing me off. I don't know why there's like ants in this fucking car. No, like I seen one on my hand and there's one there. Like I'm gonna have to go give me some fucking spray. I fucking hate ants, dude. I hate that shit. They fucking. I do not like ants. I don't like bugs in general. They're just fucking annoying. I hate ants though. It's so funny how people like have money to just waste. Like you got people out here poor. Like okay, there's a Burger King and there's an Apollo Local right here. They spent fucking 3 months like redesigning the building of the Burger King. Like, what does it fucking matter, bitch? It's a fucking Burger King. People are they're there to get burgers. You don't need to redesign the damn fucking building. They shut it down, only have the drive-through open, it seems, and then they opened it, and now fucking they what did they do that for? Just to spend money. And then now the other one, the chicken's place, they're doing the same thing. And then the place look normal. And I'm like, they have money to just these people are so bored. These millionaires are so bored and they have money where they can just say, let's just redesign the place because it doesn't make it look better. And like there's people out here like fucking like don't even have shit. And I'm like, what's the point? Like the place makes money already. Like, why do you even need to design it? Yeah. Yeah, and I hate 7-Eleven. Nigga, fuck them stupid funky Indians. If you Indian and you watch my channel, I'm not talking about you. And even then, the Indian dude who does watch my channel, he's a Hindu. He's from South India. He ain't from the North India. These money hungry, greedy gremlins. These pieces of shit. He's not like those other northern ones, and he knows what I'm talking about because they're more like fucked up and shit. They're the more brainwashed program, the one with the fucking diaper on their head, like that one. That's why they call it sick because they sick in the fucking brain, and then they head shits out garbage because they think stupid. So they have to have a diaper, aka the turban, for their sick mind, sick religion. I think they spell it. They spell sick. If you guys already know, like SIHK. Look it up. That's what they call it sick because whatever they're thinking is like it's sick. They have sick mental illness because that religion is mental illness. So they come in sick shit is coming from their brain, aka their sick religion. That's why they call it sick, and then they have to wear a diaper on their head to contain the shit. Because if they don't wear a diaper, that shit might. Well, that shit don't have the power to do shit, but it will infest their own. It'll make it where they'll create situations that is gonna fuck themselves up. So their fucked up thinking will create negative situations for themselves, not us, because that religion has no power. It's just gonna have the power to fuck them up. So that turban is for their own fucking good. But anyways, that piece of shit, fucking them motherfuckers kicked me out of their store, which I don't give a fuck. But the funny thing is, because he was just like, well, I think I told you guys that. I told you yesterday that motherfucker was mugging me. And then I got hella mad and I was like, bitch ass nigga, stop fucking mugging me. And he didn't know English. So he just kept looking at me like he didn't know English. And I realized, okay, he don't even know what the fuck I'm saying. So I just spit a big ass loogie on the window and his bitch ass told the fucking bald headed ass manager. I came in there the next day. He's like, oh, you can't just come in here. I'm like, he's sitting there fucking staring at me. He's like, oh, you can't do that. We don't want your business here. And I just spit another big ass loogie and I fucking left. I'm like, you need to teach these motherfuckers to speak English. How the fuck is he in America and he does not know English working at this store? That doesn't make no fucking sense. Because now, if he doesn't know English, now a situation's gonna incur where I may take one of the bottles and go upside his fucking head, and then now I'm in trouble because I can't communicate with him and tell him to shut the fuck up and chill the fuck out. And that's exactly what the fuck happened. Like I'm telling this nigga, chill the fuck up, calm the fuck down. Like nigga, this is America. This ain't fucking India, nigga. You have some courtesy and shit. You don't just be mugging people and shit, nigga. Like that's the thing. People don't understand. Like in India, when you go to different countries, even when I go, you gotta like do different. Like he just look at it. India, somebody can just go and do something. You could think somebody's stealing, and you could look at them and then fucking do whatever you gotta do. And then motherfuckers in India, since they're so damn weak over there, they're gonna be like allowing and shit. But he coming to America, bringing that fucking energy, looking at me, and I'm not even doing anything. If I was doing something that's different, I wasn't doing shit. He just looking at me, and like I'm saying something. I'm like, bitch, okay, don't fucking look at me. Like, just stay in India. You don't just stare at people in public and don't have respect for people. And this is America. You actually have to have some type of respect. Otherwise, you're gonna go upside your fucking head, or you're gonna get disrespected, verbally or physically. Like he didn't know that. That's why that shit happened. Somebody needs to teach that motherfucker. That's why I say they don't need to have these niggas who don't know English because they don't know how to communicate. And then that's the situation comes with something that fucking happened. Like I don't have a problem with people from different countries coming over and shit, but it's like if they're gonna have an attitude like they think that they better and everything, and in America and they want to come over here, then that nigga who just got into the office, he needs to deport them motherfuckers if it wants to get to that point to the ones that are very disrespectful, like the Indians. As far as like the other motherfuckers who belong here, that's different. But them Indians, like the straight up, though, not Indians, but the Arab people and shit, like who the fuck are they to come over here and then have an audacity to even say anything? For real. Like you don't give shit to the community. Like I don't give a fuck if they deport you or not. They don't do shit to the no fucking community of anybody. All you do is come over here and then do your shit and you sell people your poison, your shit, and that's it. And I'm not saying like they owe anybody shit, but I also don't owe you the respect to not go up in your store and take whatever the fuck I feel like it. I don't owe you that respect. Because if I did owe you it, then you would be able to do something other than catch me after the fact and punish me or snitch on me or whatever. Dumbass. You be able to actually, I don't know, do something like control my movement to actually not do that. So there's no after the fact where you gotta go and realize your shit's fucking missing. What's on? Chinese fried rice, nigga. Joe, Chinese fried rice ass fucking Gangnam style ass Chinese fried rice ass nigga. Chinese fried rice ass nigga. Oh man. I just hate fucking like disrespectful. Like, cause like I know it's like a lot of these motherfuckers, not a lot of them, but like recently, like they be like having an attitude. Like I be just doing like I don't have no fucking attitude with me. Like, cause it's me. I'm not a type of person who's like friendly like that. Like I'm friendly, but I'm not friendly. Like that's I have a Venus in the sixth house in Aquarius. I'm not fucking friendly really. Like anything when it comes, it has to be on condition. Like I'm not saying like I have a Venus in the sixth house. That's just how it is. If it's not conditional on some shit, then I'm gonna be a dickhead. And so a lot of these people they come at me a certain way, thinking I'm some like Martin Luther King non-violent shit, and I'm gonna just be on Gandhi and be nice and just that's not what I'm gonna do. I'm not saying I'm gonna go be like going like be extremely loud, but I'm gonna be disrespectful, even if it means me like that's what I'm saying. Like it's ridiculous. I'm not like I'm gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna start tearing shit up or I'm gonna beat somebody's ass. I just be like, straight up, nigga, your mother's a fucking whore. And I'll just say that in a calm voice and say it in his face. Your mother is a fucking whore, and she should have fucking spat you out. That's what I would say. This, and I would just walk out normally, nonchalant. But it's crazy though, man. Yeah, I need to get the fuck on. I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna still be on live. There's a lot of shit I'm about to be, and I'm gonna get. If you guys haven't, you should get you guys one of these wallets. It's like a little small ass money clip shit. They call it a minimalist wallet. I don't know. It's like a little money clip thing. You put like your cards in it and everything. Like, this shit is hella convenient. That's weird because I was just thinking to myself, like, we in a different shift because back then I always used to need a wallet. I need my wallet, but it's funny. Like recently, I'm like, I just want to get this because it's lighter, it's not too heavy. Just you put your card in, you don't carry to just put your money in here. Like you're gonna just keep most of the money. You're to keep at your house or something. You're not gonna be carrying too much fucking money on you in person, like really. So you just put the little money you bring with you, and you see what I'm saying, like. But before I didn't think that. That's how I could tell we kind of like in a shift because you see how everything is like different. Like I don't know, like it's just me. At least for this, with like, other things just besides this, but I could tell we in a shift. Like it's just because I don't know. I just feel like being light. I don't feel like having a lot of shit. Even when I see like wealthy people, like I was watching this channel, this financial guru. I forgot his name, but the dude talking about how like, oh, he ate $1 million last month, and how he does this, and he's going on this, and he's going on a flight. And I'm like, when I'm looking at this, like he did not even look happy. Like you could tell like 70% of his life is upholding all his overhead so he can keep sustaining that lifestyle, and then the other 30% is like enjoying it. And even when he's enjoying it, like 20% of that is like him thinking about how he's gonna make money and shit. Because like a lot of these niggas, like I can kind of feel the energy. I can put myself in situations and shoes and shit. And I can kind of see like a lot of these people, like they've gotten themselves to the point where they can't even, they feel like if they go, even though they have $20 million, they feel like if they take 1 year off, they're gonna lose like 3, 4, 5, or $7 million, which they will based on how they have their situation and how invested they are in the matrix, because they set it up like that. But they're so clinging on to money, they it's like it's working against them. It's like they making so much money that if they stop making money, they're gonna lose like millions, and then they're gonna be triggered to and be depressed about not making that money. So then that leaves them as like a workhorse situation. And I'm like, I'm not trying to fucking live that fucking life. So there's no point in that. And people say, well, because in order to even get to a state where you're making millions of dollars, you have to have a certain mentality. This is why you see a lot of people that get there, they don't just say, I want 10 million, I want to just retire. Like a lot of you guys say, if I had 10 million, I'll just chill. That's the reason why you won't even get 10,000 probably, because that mentality. to 5 million, you have to have a mentality, because for him to get to 10 million, he had to at least go through 3 million. And a lot of you niggas would have quit at 3 million. So to get to 10 million, he had a mentality. So like that right there is like the whole thing that you're like fighting and shit. Like, so I'm not trying to live my life like that, like worrying about money and all that dumbass shit. Like, when I see that shit, I'm like, like a lot of this shit is not even like, they don't even like that shit. They've been programmed to like a lot of these things. Like, they've been programmed to like a lot of these fucking things. Like, you got to understand. And if you don't believe me, like, why tell me why you don't like the same cartoons you did when you were like 8, or you don't like the same things you did when you were fucking 12 or 11 or even like 5 years ago, because you don't like that shit because it was a thing. You were programmed to like that shit, or you liked it for a certain reason. It wasn't genuinely your purpose that you liked. Yeah, I'm about to. He's like looking. Let me put this shit down. Good. I got to chill right now because we're in Mercury and Sagittarius season. Like when I was in Gemini season, remember my car. I wasn't paying attention and I fucked up my other car. Ended up having to get this. So like, I don't know, Sag season, Gemini season, I'm always have to be on guard. I have to have my shields up, because if I don't have my shields up, some bullshit can happen. That's all. Like, I like to lay low around Sag season. Really. I don't like to do too much shit. Yeah, I'm doing. Damn, that niggas gonna get fucking hit. These homeless people, they be crazy, man. They don't just go out and fucking middle of the street. Like, you don't even care. Dumbass people. Yeah, but what's going on with everyone? Shout out to Famous Mallow. Looking. I don't know what that means. What's good with it? Oh shit, where's my thing at? My teeth aid. Damn, that bitch looks like a fucking bandit, a Western bandit or something. What the fuck? She got a fucking. Wish I can show you. Damn, this fuck. I hate StreamYard. The video quality on here is trash. You gotta get like you gotta upgrade. Fucking Christmas tree. They got these weak ass Christmas trees. People really put in that shit. There is a fucking there was a Wells Fargo bank that was being built. The bank is already built right now, but there was a Wells Fargo's bank built where I was staying at a few months ago. And when they were building the bank, because I started building it like last year, and then they were building it. I didn't know it was a bank they were building. I just seen a bunch of construction. And then like when they were about to finish it, fucking somebody burned it down. And then when they burned that shit down, everyone's like, "Oh, building got burned down and shit." And I was like, in my mind, I was like, "Who gives a fuck, really?" But I was like, imagine that was somebody's business or some shit. And I was like, that's fucked up, because imagine somebody like it was like I thought it was a small business or some shit, because they have like a lot of small businesses. I was like, that's fucked up. Somebody just burned down their whole shit. Now they got to go get it all over again. But then once I found out that shit was a bank, and then like me and a whole bunch of other people, we found out it was a bunch of bank. Everybody just started laughing, like, "Damn, man, that's funny." Like, because they lost it, because no one gave a fuck at that point. Because everyone at first gave, even the people who did give a fuck, they were like, "Oh shit, somebody's shit got burned." But once people realized it was a bank, no one like gave. Everyone was like joking about it. So like, and then people were like, "Oh, I want to give that nigga like $5," because I guess it was like a homeless person who burned it down. So like, and they burned down another fucking building. But it was shit's funny though. That shit was hilarious. I don't know what the fuck. But they opened the bank. I'm like, and that's another thing. People say, "Oh, the economy's gonna collapse. The economy's gonna collapse." But I've seen like 3 or 4 banks open up, like construction and everything. Like, get the fuck out of here. That's how I can tell. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying nothing's gonna happen when an economy collapse. But even if it does happen, it's gonna be fake and staged. That's what I'm saying. And why the fuck am I going this way? Are you fucking serious? I just went the long way. Whatever. It's not that long, but I'm glad I don't fucking gas ain't no fucking issue for me because I always be driving around and it's such a pain in the ass. That's why I don't even like dumbass people don't know fucking know how to drive around. Slow ass people. You have to be careful, guys. I had to drop that phone down because the guy was getting too close to me. The guy was getting too close to me. I didn't want to hit him. I had to just drop it down. I don't want to be on the phone while I'm driving. I'm trying to. I can't scoot it down because the thing is. But I'm gonna be getting a tripod for my qigong. So when I do qigong, I'll be able to do qigong anywhere. Damn. It really don't even matter to be honest. I'm going the same way. Oh shit. Yeah. Yeah. But I'm just chilling right now, guys. Yeah. It's funny because you notice how like that whole Christmas energy. You guys notice how that shit is dying? Like that whole Black Friday, Christmas energy is not the same. They even been saying that Black Friday deals or some shit wasn't even the same. Like nobody was getting no deals really. Like they only gave deals on cheap ass shit nobody wanted, and like the things that people wanted was like only like 20%. It wasn't like a small percent. It wasn't even a real percent. So like you can tell the energy's dying off. Because like what do people expect though? Thinking because the inflation and everything costing more money. That's what everybody was bitching and complaining about this whole year, the past 2 years, or at least the past year. So when Black Friday came, wouldn't it make sense that the prices are for Black Friday are going to be the same prices normally they would have been probably like 2 years ago? It's not going to be like those good deals. This is because you got to understand, like, because a lot of people want shit from the government. What I'm realizing is the government doesn't have shit to give. This is why every time you want to do something, it's always a trade-off. They say, "Oh, you get food stamps, but it comes from the tax money, or this, or it's always some because it's not that because the government they don't have shit to give. They don't got no energy. All their energy is from people, so they don't have shit. So like literally, anytime you get something and you want to say, "Oh, the government did," they didn't do shit. The people did. If the government, let's just say the government says we want to give housing to everybody, and they start building housing, and everybody moves in. The people who built the fucking house is the people of the sheep. The people who did all the paperwork is the sheep, whether it be real estate agent or everybody. Even though you may say, "Oh, they're real estate," they're still a sheep. They're not in no fucking bloodline family. So like they don't got shit to give. That's just why they can't give nothing. It's all with the people. So once the people be like, you need to give a shit. At that point, they're gonna just go off, and people are gonna realize their own power. That's really what it's gonna lead to. They can't do shit because they have and even then, why would they want to? They have a lot of karma and spirit. It's like you about to go serve 100 years in prison, and somebody comes up to you a day before you go to prison to serve your time and asks you fucking for all these favors and shit. Like, nigga, if you don't get out my face, I'm about to go to jail and you asking me for all these favors. Like, these niggas are in spiritual hell. So what does it look like them doing something good for people? It doesn't make sense because even though they should, but for them, they don't look at it like it makes sense because their shit is so fucked up. Like they already, like even if they were to come clean and everything, people have been killed and minds have been fucked up. It's like there's a lot of shit that has to be done. So at this point, even if they do come clean, it'll just be like them not expanding the hell that they're gonna be in. It won't even be like them stopping the hell. They're still gonna experience the hell. They just won't be expanding it and making it even worse. Because like right now, they're just making it worse. This is fucking hilarious. Damn, this is a 2%. I'm at the end of the live stream, guys. But it's a good live stream. It's gonna probably shut off in about a. Yeah, I'm gonna go live tomorrow. I'm gonna go live tomorrow. Most definitely, I'm gonna go live tomorrow. But yep, I'm out though, guys. Peace.